deep
some of
playoff. That's a fan.
You see why some of the fans, Jay, that have been around for decades on top of decades on top of decades, when their teams finally win, or they just be crying and just, I can't believe that you know what I'm saying? I live to see this, because you never think about you would live to see something that's never happened before.
Yeah. Yeah, think about the number of Cubs and Red Sox fans, and I'm sure it's, Cleveland Browns fans and now Lions fans.
Well, not Red Sox. Red Sox.
No, now they are, but for
a
80
while,
years, people lived and died a whole life, high school, and had a job and had a family and had grandkids and passed away, didn't see anything.
Yeah, pick another team.
It's nuts.
Get another team.
Get another. You want to know why I finally gave up the Knicks?
I have
my time's ticking.
I have the ability to have the luxury of the Lakers and the Dodgers. I'm good.
Right? That's how I feel about the Yankees and the Giants.
Do you think that's one of the reasons why a lot of fans have skewed more towards individuals in sports more so than teams?
One of them. Yeah, I think it's one of them. All right, Bradley Beal is available. Speaking of individuals in sports, what's the best landing spot for him? Speaking of teams. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, ESPN Radio.
I like it.
For the ones who know safety isn't a catchphrase, it's a culture. And the ones who help make sure everyone makes it home safe.
Hello, friends. David Nuño here with TexAgs Radio. And if you missed a show this week, you missed this.
You could put Alabama on that list relative to what the expectations are and the talent level that's there. I think A&M is number one at the top of the list. And don't you think part of that is learning, whether it's the NIL era or not, learning how to manage a recruiting class like A&M had? I think that's just a huge part, right? I mean, like within the locker room, roster management, playing time, there's only one football to go around. And then you have to continuously recruit these guys, once they come on campus. And I feel like that was a learning lesson for that staff and a major issue going forward, right?
Yeah, 100%. In fact, I talked about that early in a different way. It's just like, to me, relying on young players in today's world of college football, you need to have some that you can rely on. Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. on The Zone.
Water is all around us. Falling from the sky, bubbling up from the earth, running clear at the turn of a faucet. No wonder it's hard to imagine we're facing a water crisis. But we are. So that's why the American Planning Association brings you simple ways to save water at home and in your community. Learn more at planning.org. That's planning.org. Find out how native plants make a great garden with less watering, why a car wash that recycles water is the way to go, how community efforts can make the biggest difference of all. When you work with local planners, businesses, and elected officials, protecting water as a part of growth and development can be as natural as water itself. A public service message from this station and the American Planning Association.
In today's economy, it's just as common for companies to merge and go out of business as it is for workers to change jobs. As a result, retirement plans can be left behind, lost, or forgotten about until it's time for workers to retire. Even in the best of circumstances, workers can have questions about or problems with their retirement plans, but not know where to turn for help. That's where Pension Help America comes in. Found online at pensionhelp.org, Pension Help America connects Americans to resources that can help them find answers to questions about their retirement plans. By guiding you through a simple series of questions, Pension Help America will put you on the path to finding the help you need. Pension Help America is a website of the Pension Rights Center, a nonprofit consumer organization dedicated to protecting and promoting the retirement security of American workers, retirees, and their families. If you have a question about your retirement plan, visit pensionhelp.org. That's pensionhelp.org. A public service message from the Pension Rights Center.
He loves our community. From the high school sports update to the mascot of the week. Listen in to Louie, weekdays from 11 to 2. This is KCNE College Station Bryan.
From WTAW, I'm Chelsea Reber with a news update on the Zone. Tuesday night's Bryan City Council meeting included an offer from Mayor Bobby Gutierrez to the College Station Council. College Station Mayor John Nichols on WTAW responded to Gutierrez supporting College Station's charge for sending ambulances into Bryan if College Station drops the idea of building a sewer trunk line along Rosemary Drive.
I don't see that as necessarily the point of some kind of a compromise trade-off on a sewer system. I think there are maybe other things we can talk about, and we're certainly willing to do that.
Nichols also said he heard the apology Gutierrez made Tuesday night for using the word bloodbath in reference to the sewer line project. Bryan's police chief and mayor present awards to a pair of civilians during Tuesday's city council meeting. Chief Eric Buskey presented BPD's civilian service citation to Jason Allen and Adam Richardson for assisting an officer who was shot last December.
They prioritized Officer Watson's life and welfare above their own, as it was unknown if the suspect was still on the scene.
Mayor Bobby Gutierrez presented Courageous Citizen Awards to Allen and Richardson, a City Valor Award to the officer who the civilians assisted, Najee Watson, and a City Hero Award to another officer, Sarah Popham. A 23-year-old College Station man is in the Brazos County Jail for the second time this month, the fifth time since mid-March, and the eighth time since April of last year.
Noah Perkins' latest arrest is on a charge of violating a criminal trespass warning from an apartment complex. The College Station Police arrest report states Perkins was sitting in a covered bus stop waiting area that's owned by the complex, which is across the street from a sorority house. The arresting officer wrote a letter to a judge saying Perkins has been issued trespass warnings at 11 locations. An online record showed Perkins served 90-day sentences for criminal trespassing last month and last year. Bond from the most recent arrest was set at $20,000. Bill Oliver, 1620, 94.5 WTAW.
And I'm Chelsea Reber on the Zone.
With Father's Day coming up, I'll tell you what Dad really wants. No question about it. Get Dad a gift certificate or a custom Grill Master Box of some great Field of Family steaks. Only the best cuts of beef from a local ranch right here in the Brazos Valley. Unlike other beef companies, at Field of Family, you know exactly how and where your beef was raised. Take it from me. I've been there and seen the product firsthand. Shop FieldToFamily.com and treat Dad special this year. That's Shop FieldToFamily.com for premium beef quality and flavor.
There's only one best, and we want you to decide. Voting is now open for the 23rd Annual Best of the Brazos Valley. Tell us who you like the best in dining, shopping, wellness, services, and everything that makes this the best place to live. Vote online now at bestofthebrazos.com. Thanks in part to our sponsors, the George Bush Presidential Library and Museum, Prosperity Bank, the law offices of Jeff Paradowski, and Bottom Line Bookkeeping. Voting closes July 5th. You get one vote, so make it count at bestofthebrazos.com.
I'm Sean Burnett with your Aggie Sports Minute on the Zone. This update is brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. Call 936-825-0500 or click hillcosupply.com. Texas A&M football has learned its 2024 opponent lineup as the SEC announced conference opponents last night. The Texas A&M and Texas rivalry will resume in 2024 with the Longhorns coming to visit Kyle Field. It'll be the first game played since 2011. The Aggies will also face LSU, Missouri, and Notre Dame at home. They'll also have a designated home game against Arkansas in the Southwest Classic at AT&T Stadium. Their road SEC schedule will include trips to Auburn, Florida, Mississippi State, and South Carolina. Dates and times for the 2024 conference slate will be announced at a later date. The Texas A&M System Board of Regents held a special meeting Wednesday where 4 personnel items were approved. One that involves the flagship campus was the Regents giving the authority to the president to negotiate and execute a new contract with head men's basketball coach Buzz Williams. Texas A&M golfer Jenny Parks' strong play during the Aggies' run to the SEC Championship and the semifinals at the NCAA Championships was recognized with a spot on the Golf Week All-American second team. It was the second All-American honor of the season for Park, who was also named to the Women's Golf Coaches Association All-American second team. And that's your Aggie Sports Minute, brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. On The Zone, I'm Sean Burnett.
It's Larry Shelby, previously on the Paul Feinbaum Show.
Now, Matt in San Antonio, I'm not going to say nothing bad about him. I like the guy, Paul, but it's like every day he calls in now, it's just like a barking chihuahua, like a mad barking chihuahua. Happy weekend, Paul.
Thank you very, very much.
The Paul Feinbaum Show, powered by Polaris Fun Center, 2 to 4 weekdays on The Zone.
If I'm gonna do this, I'll need my news team at my side.
News team, assemble!
Howdy, Aggieland.
Welcome to the SEC.
Our program will be built on 4 principles in which I talk about all the time: toughness, effort, discipline, and pride.
Dang it! I'm going to have to buy that boy cream cone.
Now I'm distracted on my point. What were we talking about?
It's bullcrap. All I care about is winning. Show me the dang baby.
You do it till they do it right, and then you do it till they can't do it wrong.
Go get him. Why are you dancing around? Eat him like he's a steak.
He fits what TexAgs radio is about. He fits into what the listeners are going to want. He's a pro on every level.
It's Nuño and the crew on TexAgs Radio. Right here on Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. The Zone.
Hey, records on my demo. Did y'all boys not get the memo?
I hope it's the only time I feel like Howard Dean, but I feel like Howard Dean at the moment, OB. You know something, had I told you a year ago that A&M would be hosting Texas in 2024, we would have given anything for that. Not only are we hosting Texas in 2024, Olin Buchanan, but we're hosting LSU, Missouri, and Notre Dame. Not yet. Oh. And then we're going on the road to Mississippi State, Florida, and Arkansas, and Auburn. Sorry. Old man jokes here on TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio.
Can't have too many.
In fact, Nick, see if you can find that little rant right there. Go Hour, presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations. Let's see who actually knows what the heck I was talking about there. Our audience is a very affluent, smart audience.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know if our staff would know. Do you know what we're talking about there, Luke Evangelist?
Not a clue.
See, that's one of the sad things about today. They pay no attention to the politics that's going to shape their future.
What year were you born?
2001.
Okay. I remember being, I don't know, however old during the Iran-Contra and watching a little bit of it. I remember, all right? I remember Ronald Reagan getting shot. I remember Princess Di getting married. I remember things that mattered in the world when I was 3 or 4 years old, Luke Evangelist.
Well, maybe not.
I remembered when they released a new NCAA video game. We're all going to remember that.
We'll remember that.
I always say, there are things that happened well before I was born that I'm aware of.
Nick is asking, what rant do you want me to find?
Howard Dean
rant. Just Google that.
That should be enough.
That you'll find it. It's like
that's like asking for Jim Mora playoff.
Yes, in the political world, that's the same thing, right? It's the equivalent to it.
Pretty much.
Well, welcome to the show. We do got a schedule to talk about. I already gave it to you, basically. But what were your initial thoughts, OB?
Not really surprised.
Yeah.
I guess I'd say, of course, we knew that Texas and A&M were going to be playing, and then some other things that the omnipotent Billy Lucci was telling us beforehand, and they all, of course, turned out to be true. I would trade Alabama for Texas any day.
Yeah. I did look at Texas's schedule. Doesn't look that difficult either.
Just what, A&M and Georgia?
Yeah, pretty much. We'll go back and kind of look through
A&M,
those.
Georgia, and the Seven Dwarfs.
But and one state that I forgot to mention was South Carolina. Let it last a little bit. So South Carolina I did forget. So there you go. Notre Dame, McNeese, New Mexico State, Bowling Green. We don't have the actual times and dates, but we have the games. LSU, Missouri, Texas, South Carolina, at Florida, by the way, Mississippi State, Auburn, and, of course, the last game at Jerry World, at least for A&M versus Arkansas.
Thank goodness. It is an easy drive up there, right? But
I don't mind it, I mind it.
College football is meant to be played on campus.
Especially a conference game.
I
wouldn't mind those preseason kickoffs, whatever they call it, the first game of the zero-week game. I'm fine with that.
Unless it's something that's historically been played somewhere else, like Texas and Oklahoma and Dallas, or Georgia and Florida and Jacksonville. Are there any others besides those two that are historically played?
No.
At a neutral Army Navy?
Oh yeah.
Okay, that's about it though.
So good. Glad it's the last one of that. I look at this and like Notre Dame, brand name.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what kind of Notre Dame team we're going to have. If Freeman's going to have them playing at that level that we had seen during the Brian Kelly days, he might. I mean, they finished well last year. McNeese, New Mexico, we know, Bowling Green.
Well, it doesn't really matter. I mean, Notre Dame's such a big name that even if they're not good,
national attention.
If you beat them in, like, say, overtime, Tom, what was his name? Or not, what's the ESPN announcer that says, Texas is back? What's that guy? He's way over the top all the time.
Not Charles.
No.
Davis. Who is it?
He's
yes.
Tessitore. Tessitore?
Joe Tessitore.
He's way, overreacts to everything. So if you beat Notre Dame, you're back even if you're not, or even if you never left.
True. LSU game, do you think that'll be an early, like when I say early, like early season game?
I would have, just guessing, I would guess that it'll be sometime in October, like the very first time A&M and LSU played.
Okay. I could see that.
When
I could also see it being the first conference game of the year, too.
I wouldn't like that. I kind of like Arkansas being the first conference game.
Yeah, I agree.
I like giving your team – I like playing your better teams mid-season. Your better opponents, both teams are in mid-season form. You're at your best.
Yeah.
Or, and then I get it. I get it at the rivals. You're going to play at the end. I get that. I don't know. I guess they're eventually going to play – schedule Texas as the last game, I assume.
I would assume so, yeah.
I wish they would not.
You'd rather have Texas win?
I just think that, and maybe culture has changed, right, for your players, but they always put so much into that game. I would hate for you to be a team that's that's on your way to the playoff or to the conference championship, and your last game before that is against Texas, and then you come in flat, visions of Arkansas in 74, 75 come to mind.
Right.
But if that's if they're going to follow tradition, I'm a believer in tradition, so it'll be all right.
Yeah,
just beat them.
A couple things that I take away from this as well. Not only are you not playing Alabama, you're not playing Georgia, which is ridiculous. But I'm assuming Georgia's going to be great next year as well. But you miss Bama, you miss Georgia, you miss Ole Miss. And you miss Tennessee. So you got to go take it to Kiffin this year.
Yeah, well, you got to
take it to everybody.
Yeah, but I think one of the things that I just have a hard time wrapping my head around is A&M with all the resources and advantages and how they've not been able to consistently sweep the Mississippi schools. And that's not a knock on the Mississippi schools. They've done some good things and hired some good coaches. You don't have to like Kiffin to acknowledge that he's a good coach.
Let's go arrow pointing up, or we'll do thumbs, all right? Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle, neutral, about where programs are headed. Notre Dame, up, down, neutral.
I'm neutral on that one.
LSU, I'd say they're probably on the way up.
You're skipping McNeese?
Yeah,
I want to say any team that had Ryan Broniger as alum is on its way down.
On the way down.
Okay.
LSU
probably is up, right? Probably up.
Yeah.
Brian Kelly did well in his first year. Good coach.
Drinkowitz is at Missouri is recruiting at a great rate, but I would say neutral at best.
I would say after his statements at the spring meetings, I decided I really like him. But I have to still be neutral. At least I'm not putting him on the way down.
Texas, way up?
They sent way up? I mean, way up in the Big 12, what does that mean? That means you can swim in the kiddie pool?
I feel they're going to do really well this year and have a lot of momentum heading into next year.
They'll probably be like a lot of Oklahoma teams that would win the Big 12 and then play, an SEC and get blown out.
Yep. So you wouldn't put them up?
In the division they're in. If we start talking about 2024.
We're talking 2024, from what we know today.
I will say it's been proven over time, a Big 12 champion equates to a run-of-the-mill SEC team. And don't give me the whole Sugar Bowl thing, because the SEC team in the Sugar Bowl, the whole mentality is different. That's a consolation prize for the SEC team. It's a reward for the Big 12 team.
But Texas has been recruiting at an SEC clip with SEC-type players the last 2 years because they've had the benefit of saying, hey, we're going to the SEC. Yeah. We're going to the SEC. So I don't know if it'll be a traditional Big 12
and yet still not winning the Big 12.
Still not winning the Big 12. South Carolina feels like they're on the way up. I still need to see more, but trending up-ish.
I'm neutral on them.
Florida going down.
They're going down.
I mean, I saw look at their schedule. We can talk about that in the next segment, but they're absolutely looking down. Mississippi State looking down.
Yeah, with Mike Leach looking down at them.
And Will Rogers will be gone.
Yeah.
Auburn, I feel like they're looking up.
Well, they've got a better coach. Right? So, and I'm not at a point where I want to disparage Auburn after that travesty out on the plains last November.
Mm-hmm. And then we got Arkansas, who will not have KJ Jefferson next year unless he's got 100 years of eligibility.
Yeah, my guess is they will not have him or Rocket Sanders. Will be trending downward.
So, to me, pretty manageable schedule. Again, we don't know how things are going to – transfer portal changes the whole conversation. But just sitting here on June 15th, 2023, I got to say the date more
just like 15 months away.
Yeah, when you put it like that, it's not that far because I feel like this offseason's been 15 months.
Yeah, it feels like it sometimes, doesn't it?
If you want to be part of the conversation, text us up on the A&B text line, 979-693-1150. A&B, a College Station branch of the Amarillo National Bank. Good Texas banking, the website, amb.com. We go behind the glass. Nick Savage. Nick, good morning.
Howdy, good morning, y'all.
What's up?
You ever notice I'm like a walk-in billboard for TexAgs? I always got their stuff on. But anyways.
No, I don't know.
Yeah, I just thought about that. But anyway, I'm really happy with the 2024 opponents. I think it's going to set up nicely for the Aggies because, like y'all were mentioning, you miss Bama, you miss Georgia. You're obviously the Bama game's always good, always fun to watch, but not mad about missing them for a year. And 2024, your freshman class from 2022 will all be juniors, so 3 years of college ball under their belt. I think it sets up well for the Aggies.
I would have liked to have had Georgia on the schedule in 2024. I think if you're ever going to be prepared to beat Georgia,
it's going to be that year.
It's going to be that year on your home field if you had gotten them there.
But you may get them in an SEC championship game. Hopefully,
there's that too.
By the way, I am convinced that 2025 you'll have Texas, LSU, Georgia, and Bama on your schedule. Convinced of it.
In a 9-game schedule?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just because I just think that's how it works.
Just beat them all.
Beat them all. Anything else? Were we able to find our not our friend, no, but the rant from, what's his name?
Howard Dean.
I will maybe come back with it next segment.
I just want to see how he did. Because you're how'd you do it? Woo! Yeah.
No, it's definitely not a woo. It's ah!
Let's go to...
Sound like a professional wrestler.
I could see you being one. I got an idea for you. Thinking about taking some MMA classes. You should too.
Okay.
They have. I mean, you could do it. Call up our friends at QC Kinetics, get your joints good, and go fight people. Let's go.
I would not fight anybody unless I was, or my family was threatened, or a friend was threatened. I do not.
You won't
condone
enter
violence.
The All Valley High. What was it that Daniel LaRusso entered? What was the name of the tournament? You wouldn't enter an older man's version of it?
No, sure wouldn't. No. I don't even know if I could do that stork pose.
You know that you could do the crane kick?
The crane. I'm not even saying the kick.
I don't know if you can.
I don't know if I can get in that pose.
If this was 2 years ago when I first started, I would probably have you do the crane kick during the break on camera. But we won't do that. We'll check in with Luke Evangelist. Luke, good morning, buddy.
Good morning, David. I'm feeling great.
I can tell.
Yeah, because the greatest rivalry in college football is back.
Oh, gosh. Okay, Sam Ehlinger. And you know how that turned out.
Yeah.
You
I just had to
excited?
get that in there. Oh, I'm really excited. I mean, I haven't been to one of these games since 2007 when Stephen McGee was the quarterback, and now hopefully if I stay here for a fifth year, I'll finally get to see one in college.
Here's what I find curious, is how are the players going to feel about that? Because I guess the oldest player on the team, especially by the time they actually play, was probably 9.
Yeah.
When the last time Texas and Texas A&M played.
But if you
will they still have the same disdain?
Well, I don't know if there's the same disdain anywhere, right? Like, do the players at Alabama and Auburn have the same disdain that they had? I think we're in a different day. Like, Yankee Red Sox, they don't like each other, sure, but, like, it kind of matters with the stakes. How big are the stakes? I think that first game is absolutely going to matter. These are guys that you were recruited with and against, people you played against. It's your closest rival, at least verbally. You've been told that since you've been on here. The fight song talks about each other. Yeah, I think it'll matter.
I just remember Lance Teichelman and Chris Dawson coming into the interviews that Monday before the game in 1993, and they were both, even on Monday, they were like rabid Doberman pinchers trying to get, get at somebody.
I don't think they're like that anymore, though. I think people are more friends. I think social media has connected the world more, and we're more divided than ever. But I'm just saying, I think these guys they're buddies. I don't think there's that same level of hate.
Maybe not.
Now, fans.
Yeah, fans is
just look on social.
Just make sure there's extra security.
You know what I try not to do, but I end up doing it all the time? Looking at Billy's Twitter feed. It just makes me want to fight everyone. All of them. Line them up. Punch to the face. Punch to the face.
Stick and move.
No, I don't even have to move. That's how I feel about all of them with fake names going after Billy.
It's easy when you're using a fake name, right? Twitter has made a lot of pencil neck geeks real brave, tough guys.
Yeah. Every once in a while, there's a guy who uses maybe his real name, and I do a little Google search just to find out more information. Sometimes I get stuff. Yeah, even of our listeners. We go to we already went there. Anything you want to report, Luke?
Yeah, well, it was a big day in the portal and on the recruiting trail. So Schloss got 2 graduate transfers yesterday. Ted Burton.
Michigan?
Yeah, Michigan. He was a third-team All-Big Ten last season at second base, so possibly a replacement for Austin Boast.
And then pitcher, right?
Oh, yeah, Zane Bidmayev. He's
Tarleton.
6'8". He could be playing on the basketball team. He's 6'8", right-handed pitcher. He posted a 2.81 ERA last season. Yeah, and only 7 walks, and I think 46 strikeouts. Yeah,
somebody that can throw strikes from the right side.
Doesn't walk.
I don't care where he's from. I'm in.
All right, we're going to kind of go through some of these other schedules when we come back. Stephen McGee scheduled to join us at 8:35. Austin Krychek going to join us at 9:05. Billy calling us to kind of go over the news over the last 24 hours. Andrew Monaco and the Fan Show. That's all kind of scheduled for right now. So I know you have a love affair with food.
I do.
It's
kind of tawdry. My love affair with food.
I love your vocabulary. I just wouldn't have thought of that word, but you use it so well. So
lurid.
Like, you want Fargo's, right? Like right now, you would absolutely have Fargo's.
You know, it's Wednesday. I mean, it's Thursday. If Fargo's were open, or if they were willing to come to me here at 8:15 with that pork chop and macaroni and cheese.
Oh my gosh! Stop! It's getting hot in here.
I would devour.
Yeah,
I would consume that pork chop and macaroni and cheese, and bring me some of that good lemonade too.
I'm not
Belender.
I'm not saying out loud that Austin or Belender or Maurice need to bring us food one morning. I'm not saying it out loud, but if they happen to do it,
I would
oblige.
Based on the way this whole thing started, I would call them up like this, say, Belender, this is Olin.
Yeah, hello, Olin.
What are you cooking?
Today I'm cooking. I don't know how his voice sounds.
Belender's a woman.
Okay, sorry. I don't know her voice.
Can you bring me some?
I'm not going to do her voice. I'll just pretend like it didn't happen.
Can you bring me one of those hot pork chops and
Yes.
some macaroni and cheese.
Absolutely.
And a lemonade.
That cool, refreshing drink.
Lemonade. Yeah.
Oh, this is off the rails. Go check out our good friends at Fargo's. You've got Alan, Belender, and Maurice all there. Without a doubt, the best barbecue in town. That's your trademark because it's true. It's Fargo's. Go check it out.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on The Zone. The theater company of Bryan College Station presents SpongeBob the Musical. Performances run through Sunday. Purchase tickets online at theatercompany.com/tickets. Early registration is open for the 15th annual Buffalo Stampede Race, presented by the Brazos Valley Museum of Natural History. Use code EARLYBIRD23 for 20% off. Register at brazosvalleymuseum.org. United Way of the Brazos Valley invites you to take part in its upcoming Day of Action. Help assemble 1,500 baby bundles for local newborns the morning of Wednesday, June 21st at SOS Ministries. Find more information and sign up at uwbv.org. The Adam Reuter Masonic Lodge in Welborn is holding a pork butt fundraiser. Find the lodge on Facebook for more information. You can hear Houston Astros baseball all summer long on The Zone and select games on Gospel 97.3 FM thanks to Kelly Burtdozer. That's your community calendar. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
You know us through the Aggie Ring and our work helping current and former students. You also know that we work to uphold our traditions and help bring Aggies together around the world. We are the Association of Former Students, and it's our mission to provide resources, support programs, and cultivate the experiences that you know and love. But have you ever stopped and wondered why? Why does the association support Texas A&M and Texas Aggies? Why are we always here, there, and everywhere for the Aggie Network? Why do we tirelessly work to ensure that the Aggie experience is both unforgettable and life-changing? Well, you may be surprised to learn that the answer to why is as unique as your own Aggie story. That's why we created IamTheWhy.com, a place for shared Aggie stories and unique perspectives. It's where you can hear the why, see the why, and discover why Aggies like you are the why. Visit IamTheWhy.com today.
Maroon U is your ultimate stop for brand name apparel, gifts, and accessories for the entire family. From Columbia, 47 brand, Yeti, Dooney & Burke, and Adidas, we're able to outfit you for every occasion. Visit Maroon U and our family of companies on Holloman Drive in College Station to shop the latest in brand name Aggie merchandise. Shop Maroon U today, voted best in the Brazos' best gift shop since 2016. Maroon never looked so good with Maroon U.
Each week on the Louie Bellina Show, we go in the pit with barbecue pit master Bryce Jones. In the pit, brought to you by Dixie Tire Company. Need a certain brand of custom wheels, auto accessories, truck lift kits? You need a flat tire repaired, tire and wheel rotation, or more? It's Dixie Tire Company. Sure, we talk a little barbecue, but we talk maroon and white, Astros, and more. It's in the pit each week on the Louie Bellina Show with barbecue pit master Bryce Jones.
Isn't the right thing to do. How can I?
Not only are we going to New Hampshire, Tom Harkin, we're going to South Carolina and Oklahoma and Arizona and North Dakota and New Mexico. And we're going to California and Texas and New York. And we're going to South Dakota and Oregon and Washington and Michigan. And then we're going to Washington, D.C. to take back the White House. Yeah!
Yeah, that's way better than mine. We ran off James, who was listening on YouTube. He's like, I can't deal with the yelling this morning. So, TexAgs Radio.
Did that guy just list every state in the union?
You came close.
So
pretty good memory.
I thought he was going to throw in Puerto Rico.
We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. It is the Go Hour presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations. All right, Obi, so we went through A&M schedule. I'm just going to throw you a couple other ones. LSU's got an interesting 2024 schedule. They take on USC in Las Vegas.
Nice.
Nichols. UCLA, a couple of Pac-12 schools. South Alabama, at Arkansas, at Florida, Alabama, Oklahoma, Ole Miss, Vandy, South Carolina, at A&M. That's an interesting schedule.
Yeah. Who knows what Florida will be then?
I think Florida's going to be terrible. But
I think they're probably going to be struggling. Good chance they will. Maybe Lagway will make them better.
But like Bama, USC, those are going to be top 10 teams probably.
Probably. And they got to play A&M. But they get Vanderbilt.
They do get Vandy.
So
I've already said that I think South Carolina may have the arrow pointing up, but I don't believe it, if that makes any sense.
Well, in 24, they're probably not going to have Rattler.
Right.
Now, I don't know what that means. I'm not sold on him. But is the next guy going to, even if you don't think he's a great player, you have to acknowledge he's a good one.
Yeah.
And is the next guy going to be as good? We'll see.
Here's a Bama schedule. Western Kentucky, at Wisconsin, South Florida, Mercer, at LSU, at Oklahoma, Auburn, Georgia, Missouri, South Carolina, at Tennessee, at Vanderbilt. That's a salty schedule.
Is it? Say it again. Let's go through that slowly.
I think Wisconsin's going to be good.
Okay. I'm sorry. It's a Big Ten West team.
You're not buying it?
No.
At LSU.
Okay. Yes, tough game.
At Oklahoma.
I guess it'll be tough. I mean,
I don't know
what Oklahoma is now. Okay, but okay, maybe.
Auburn.
What's Auburn going to be? They always play them.
Yep.
Okay.
Georgia.
Okay, tough game.
Missouri.
No.
South Carolina.
Not really. I mean, I'm not saying that these teams don't have a pulse, but you should absolutely be.
You should. At Tennessee.
Tennessee's had one good year in 10 years.
Yeah. At Vandy. There we go. I think it's not as easy as some would make it out. I think it's an interesting schedule, especially when you got LSU and Georgia.
Let's find out what Tennessee is by then, because I remember when everyone was all on the Butch Jones bandwagon, how good Tennessee is because they won, and then we saw where that went. Let's see where this Josh Heupel thing goes.
Let's give you a couple more. Oklahoma, they've got Temple, Tulane, Texas, at Auburn, Tennessee, South Carolina, at LSU, at Missouri, Alabama, Ole Miss.
I would think
looks like just like a typical SEC schedule. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, the problem is, and I say this for Oklahoma and Texas, is that those game or two where they don't show up, but they still win against, in Oklahoma's case, Kansas or Texas Tech or somebody like that. That's not a win anymore.
No. But
especially if you're on the road.
Texas does get Vandy. Yes, they get Georgia, but they host Georgia and they get Vandy.
Yeah.
On the road. They get, Alabama. No, they don't have Alabama. Sorry. Georgia, Mississippi State, Florida, Kentucky, away at A&M, Arkansas, Vandy, and Oklahoma. Very manageable year one.
Yeah. It's almost like they're still getting preferential treatment.
Well,
Almost
getting preferential treatment. But so overall, when we're talking about it from an A&M perspective, I would say let's go do it.
I would have. The only change I would have liked for A&M is I would have liked to have been able to play Georgia at A&M. I'm not afraid. I mean, last time A&M went to Georgia, that was a game down to the end, and if the officiating, I know this is the cry of the loser, but if the officiating had been competent, A&M very well could have won that game. Georgia got a touchdown on a pass where the receiver was holding the A&M cornerback's face mask. And then Jalen Watermeyer was unquestionably interfered with on the last play of the game. It should have been the easiest call. But SEC officials they know who's supposed to win, and they call the game accordingly.
All right, let's hit a break here. We'll come back with Stephen McGee. So yesterday in the lobby, we were talking to Kay's family, and they asked me how I loved how I'm liking living back in College Station. I was like, I love it. And I know a lot of people ask me about that. And if you're looking for a way to move back here, there are some career opportunities at the Association of Former Students. If you are already in Aggieland or looking to get back to Aggieland, that's a great place to start your search and find a job. The Association of Former Students is seeking to hire professionals to join their team. There are positions open in communications, fundraising, former student programs, web operations, and more. As the nation's premier alumni association and the oldest organization serving Texas A&M in support of that Aggie network, the association plays a part in each and every Aggie story. Howdy to hear. Don't miss the opportunity to help the association with Howdy Socials, Aggie Ring Day, class reunions, Aggie Muster, and everything in between. Join a team that exemplifies the Aggie core values of excellence, integrity, leadership, loyalty, respect, and selfless service, all in support of that Aggie network. If you're interested in joining the team or sharing with someone that would be a great fit, please visit tx.ag/association jobs to apply and get more information. It's the Association of Former Students.
We are going. Are you ready? The Zone 1150 AM and 93.7 FM.
We play like we're first, train like we're in second.
It's time. Oh, here we go.
Let's go.
Friends, the year's almost half over, and you're still dealing with that knee or hip pain. Enough is enough. Pills are not the answer. Surgery is not the answer. You need to call QC Kinetics today. Hey, it's David Nuño, and the advanced regenerative medicine solutions at QC Kinetics can give you a life without chronic joint pain, and you can do all those summer activities you used to enjoy. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in taking healing properties from your own body and applying them directly into your achy joints so your joint tissue can be repaired and restored naturally. This treatment is truly revolutionary. Patients across America are having life-changing results, and there are no drugs, no surgery, and no downtime. If you have pain in your knees, your back, your hips, your shoulders, or your hips, you need to stop what you're doing and call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation. Learn how the latest advances in regenerative medicine can give you your life back. Call QC Kinetics, 979-452-6000. QC Kinetics, 979-452-6000. That is 979-452-6000.
Here's Brad Beard of Intercon.
If you have considered replacing the windows in your brick veneer home, you may have been told that it would be necessary to either remove the brick or tear up the inside of your window box. You need to know that Intercon replaces windows and brick every day, and we don't tear up anything except the window which is being removed. By installing windows every day, Intercon personnel have worked out methods which result in the replacement windows being at least as neat and effectively installed as your windows were when they were new. This means that Intercon can furnish and install replacement windows which exceed today's tighter standards for efficiency. They look and perform just as well as the best windows in brand new homes. Call Intercon or visit our showroom, and we will furnish you customer references for homes you can look at and homeowners you probably know who can tell you that Intercon can solve your window problems without wrecking your home or your budget, just as we did theirs. Intercon will furnish a free quote, and we won't pressure you to buy.
Whether you have new construction or an existing home, let the fine folks from Intercon help your home energy efficiency year-round. Call Brad Beard of Intercon today at 823-3639. That's 823-3639.
Ground Shuttle is the Brazos Valley's premier transportation provider, well known for frequent and reliable rides to the Houston airports. Did you know that Ground Shuttle also offers private car service and charter service? For game day or any day, you could book any vehicle in their fleet to accommodate your group size and needs. From luxury sedans to full-size shuttles. It's the hassle-free way to get your group to sporting events and concerts, corporate meetings and dinners, and evening out, and the airport too. Learn more at groundshuttle.com. Ground Shuttle, let us do the driving.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. The last three champions of the NBA have been homegrown, drafted by their franchise.
They showed patience waiting through the injuries and everything.
Giannis, right? Yeah. Coming in like a string bean, like growing over time. Then you think about what Steph winning it last year, and then for this to pan out with Jokic and Jamal Murray and Aaron Gordon and the right pieces, they've all been homegrown.
Listen in to Key, J. Will, and Max, powered by WC Tractor from 5 to 8 on the Zone.
Hey, everybody. TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Roller Insurance Studio. Let's go to the hotline. Paragon Financial's best Stephen McGee joining us, our QB1. Stephen, good morning, buddy.
Hey, good morning. How we doing? OB, it's good to see your face again, man.
It's good to be here. It's good to be here. Hey, those Aggies are going to be playing Texas again.
Love to hear it. Yeah. Everything is right in the state of Texas.
You've always been calling for that game, right?
Yeah. It's long overdue. Politics aside, the game needed to happen, and I'm thankful it finally is. That's really, really good news for everybody, honestly. It's a win for not just the state of Texas, but for the country. That's a rivalry game that needs to happen.
Stephen, Obi asked a question if the players today will have that same kind of hate that the players used to have. So kind of talk to me. Was your disdain for the University of Texas bigger as a player or bigger now taking a step away?
Ooh, that's a good question. I almost would argue that players today aren't as loyal to the programs in which they play for. With the NIL and the free transfer rule, I feel like they're never fully both feet in, so to speak. I feel like there's always an opportunity somewhere else that they're exploring. And so it's hard for me to say that there's as much buy-in today as there was in the past. It's not probably not true for every player on the football team, but whenever I played at Texas or at A&M, I felt like I had more disdain for Texas. Just always got this feeling that guys at Texas felt like their, what didn't stink. And it put me, it was really off-putting, so to speak. Like I didn't like that arrogance that came from guys just because they were on the Texas team. They felt like they were just a little bit better. And so I think that's kind of worn off now, but as a player, it was a little bit stronger. So to answer your question, I definitely didn't like Texas as much as a player compared to today.
Steve and I have walked down 6th Street. It does. And stink. And hey, what teammate of yours do you recall hated Texas the most? Who was? Did you have one of that psycho teammate that just lost it all when the whole idea of playing Texas, and what'd they do?
Kirk Elder.
Why Kirk Elder?
I don't know. It's probably, I'm just picking on him because he was the team spokesman, so to speak. But it's a good question. It'll be.
Anybody ever have a Dan Campbell moment?
No, I don't think anybody got that mad.
Okay.
But I think we all had an equal dislike for Texas. Let's put it that way. I don't want to put Kirk on the spot. He didn't do anything in particular that I can remember. I think we all equally didn't enjoy the personality that came with UT.
It's typically not the players, because even though I saw Johnny Jolly and what was that big tackle they had? Jonathan Scott get into a fight after the game one time. I was right in front of it. But it's typically not I don't hate the individual. I just hate the jersey and the helmet that I'm lined up against.
Absolutely. Stephen, let's go through this home slate because it's a who's who. You got LSU, which you get from time to time, Texas and Notre Dame, all going to be at Kyle Field in 2024.
Yeah, get your tickets now. The winner of that's going to be the 12 Fan Foundation. They're going to be sold out. It's a lot of good home games. Plus, like we've discussed in the past, I think OB was gone that week, but 8 SEC games, which, there's some really good games coming to Kyle Field in combination with the SEC game. So it's a deadly slate. But you have to think, right, that as a football team, at that point of Jimbo's tenure, that with all these guys that we've recruited over the last couple of years, that they should be poised to be a really, really good football team with a really good quarterback. So it sets up nicely. If you're going to be the best, what do they say? You got to beat the best. And so that's the opportunity at hand.
What about the wake-up call that we've been talking about for both Texas and OU? You got Texas going to be hosting Georgia next year. You got OU taking on everybody, I feel like. Just talk a little bit about that wake-up call.
OU got a little bit more difficult of a draw in year one,
in my
opinion, than Texas did. I don't know. But Georgia could be a wake-up call. It's the great unknown, but you just feel like, kind of like Alabama, they're going to be a really good football team every year. And so, I think Texas is going to compete well. I really do. I don't think that they're going to show up and get blown out. I know they've had lapses in the past. They've had the Kansas issues. I get it. But I think that program is changing very quickly. I think they're going to be a very competitive SEC team. It's going to be a hard out for us. Oklahoma, I'm a little bit unsure about. I'm not sold on their program today. That they are going to be the consistent power that they were in years past with their current head man. I think they'll get back to it. I think they're willing to spend the money it takes to be successful, but I just don't think that year one they're going to be as competitive, obviously with a much more difficult schedule as well.
Yeah, that's fair. I think Texas will be competitive as well. I'm not saying that they're going to come in. Everybody thought that A&M everybody outside of College Station, I think, thought that A&M was going to be a sacrificial lamb in 2012, and they damn near won the league. But I do think, again, what Texas will run into is they think, hey, I played Alabama a tough game last year. That shows how good I am. All right, are you going to be able to do it the next week and the next week and then the week after that? Because it's not West Virginia waiting on you, except unless you got your Vanderbilt. And it's not, Kansas and some of the other pushovers in the Big 12. It's just not the same.
It's not the same. Hey, what do you think Sean Payton's going to do with the Broncos, and what is he going to do for Russell Wilson in particular?
I have never heard a bad thing about Sean Payton as a football coach. Of course, he was at Dallas before I got there, and so I'd heard a little bit about him under Bill Parcells, and they loved him. And, of course, always had the tie-in with Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys, so you always felt like he would eventually be back in Dallas as the head man. But all that to say, I think that he will have success. Russell Wilson's a very talented quarterback that had just an atrocious year last year. It was almost painful to watch at times. But he's an unbelievable player. I think we all know that. And sometimes you just, as an athlete, you get, I don't know the right term, yips, so to speak. And that was last year. I think he'll do wonders with him. I mean, the combination, I think one year we debated this, is it Bill Belichick or Tom Brady? Chicken and egg debate. Was it Drew Brees? Was it Sean Payton? You can make arguments either way on that one. But he's a good football coach, and he's quarterback friendly. And so I think that's going to help Russell Wilson a lot. I really, really do.
Steven, do you think being an NFL quarterback made you a smarter person? Like the fact of playing that job and learning how to study at that level, how did it change you cerebrally for everything you do in life?
It forces you to prepare. I'll never forget going into some of these preseason games with the Houston Texans, and you have these play sheets that are front and back. You guys have seen them. They're legal size piece of paper, laminated with all these little micro print plays, third down and short. And, you've got 10 play calls for each circumstance. You've got your first 15. You've got just normal play calls, all your runs, pass pros. It's a lot on there. And so he would go in that, and it would just be an open quiz. Like he would just say, give me 3 of the third down and 10 calls. Give me, what's a good first down call, and you'd have to verbatim recite it back to him under pressure in front of the other quarterbacks, the offensive coordinator, quarterback coach, and then of course Gary Kubiak. And so what that teaches you is the preparation that goes into the game as far as being successful. Being an NFL quarterback, it's people always want to dream about being a quarterback, but they don't necessarily understand all the work that goes in behind the scenes to being successful. And so I think it's that preparation that you learn as an athlete that really sets you up well in life. Yeah.
But how did you prepare though? Like, it's one thing to study in college and try to memorize things, but the application under fire, how did you actually get that part of it?
Well, see, that's where you have to learn by reps. You have to be out in the field. And that's where it's difficult in the NFL, because some people learn and can absorb information on a dry erase board. Some people just need to be out there under fire getting reps. The more reps, the quicker they're able to process things and react and get comfortable. So it's a combination there, right? I mean, it's you're on the board, and then you're also getting reps in practice. In the NFL, there's just not as many bodies. It's harder to get reps. In college, it's a lot easier to get reps because you have so many more people.
By the same token, what did you learn, or what did it do for you later in life that being a CFL quarterback?
I tell you what, it produces an attitude of thankfulness because you realize how good you had it at both A&M and even Burnett High School, because you take a step down from Burnett High School. I remember day one, I got a pair of rusted shoulder pads. The shirt that I got had been worn, it looked like, for 2 years. I promise you. I said, hey, do you guys have like some tights that I can wear underneath my shorts? And he goes, we don't have tights. You have to bring your own underwear. I was like, what is happening? Had no cleats, nothing.
And then they're going to pay you in Canadian money on top of that.
Exactly. They pay you in Canadian dollars and toonies. It was it reminds you that some people out there still play the game because they love it, and they just love the football game. It wasn't about the dollars and cents. It wasn't about how many people were in the stands, and so I really learned to appreciate that over time.
All right, let's hit a break.
Took me a little bit.
Let's hit a break. We'll come back with That's Bullcrap. Stephen McGee on the hotline next here on TexAgs Radio.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the Zone. Troop Over the Hill continues its Friday night movie series this week with Annie. Doors open to the Main Street Playhouse at 5:30. The movie starts at 6. This Friday, the Brazos Valley Astronomy Club is hosting a star party at Dr. Spearman's Observatory in Robertson County. Visit brazosvalleyastronomyclub.org for more information. Come out to a Juneteenth Freedom Day celebration this Saturday at the Carver Event Center from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Free food, fun, and activities for the whole family. The Bryan Amateur Radio Club will hold its annual ARRL Field Day exercises at Earl Graham Post 159 on Saturday, June 24th and Sunday, June 25th. The public is invited to observe and will be offered an opportunity to speak on the radio to other hams across the country. Learn more on the club's Facebook page. Sign up for the Zone All Access newsletter brought to you by Caliber, the wealth development company. Sign up now at zone1150.com. That's your community calendar. I'm Chelsea Reber on the Zone.
Shop local, buy local, save big deals.
It's not every day you can save money. Oh, wait, you can. Hi, Jenny here from Big Deals. When you shop Big Deals, you'll save money every day on dozens of gift certificates from local businesses like these.
Awards and more, Front Street Burgers, Spirit Ice Arena, and Scoots. Visit AggielandBigDeals.com to save big. AggielandBigDeals.com.
Finding and buying your dream home creates a special kind of excitement, and Lone Star Realty Group is ready to help you experience that excitement. At Lone Star, every client is a priority, and every client is treated like family. They combine cutting-edge technology from Compass with a hometown touch to provide a concierge experience like no other in the Brazos Valley. Whether you're buying or selling, you'll get the help you need from Lone Star Realty Group. Experience, integrity, results. Click LoneStarBCS.com.
Are you looking for investment options that potentially outpace today's high inflation environment? Concerned about recent banking failures or the volatility of the stock and crypto markets? Call Caliber to learn how you can invest in commercial real estate investments right here in Bryan College Station that support the community while producing real returns for investors. Caliber, the wealth development company, partnering with the community to build a better tomorrow. 979-977-2950. That's 979-977-2950. The investments and services offered may not be suitable for all investors. You should seek advice from an independent financial advisor.
You can hear Houston Astros baseball all season, all postseason long on the Zone, 1150 AM and 93.7 FM, and select games on Gospel, 97.3 FM. Astros baseball brought to you by Kelly Burt Dozer. All season long, Houston Astros baseball on the Zone and select games on Gospel, 97.3 FM. Astros baseball brought to you by Kelly Burt Dozer.
Thanks to you, I'm much obliged for such a pleasant stay. But now it's time for me.
All right, we're back. TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. We've got Stephen McGee on the hotline. We are now going to do a little bit of That's Bullcrap, presented by Tom Line Plumbing. For service you can trust, consider Tom Line Plumbing. Great friend of Stephen McGee and a long-time trusted plumber in and around the Brazos Valley. The website is tomlineplumbing.com. Stephen, what's Bullcrap?
My bullcrap is NCAA. I don't know if you guys saw this, but some of the officials were frustrated that NIL dollars were being allocated to not the best performing athletes, but sometimes simply the best looking or most attractive athletes. And so they've called it the hot girl problem. And the whole genesis here of capitalism is, money's going to go wherever the marketing dollars seem to make sense. And it seems like the NCAA is getting a little bit of a lesson on marketing, so to speak. And you know what? Like, they've opened the floodgates. And if a company wants to pay a certain athlete, even if they sit on the bench, $1 million a year, that's their right to do it.
Yep.
Trying to come back now and say, well, no, this person deserves to get the money because they started is not necessarily how business works, right? I mean, it's.
Yeah, I want to see how that holds up in court. The argument, well, she's too pretty to make this money.
Exactly. I think it's bullcrap. NCAA, they just seem to try to inject themselves too much. It's cat and mouse here. It's like pick your poison. You've opened the floodgates. Let the athletes go out and enjoy capitalism.
Agree.
OB, what's bullcrap?
Bullcrap is I don't know if you saw this, but that guy in the White House, Joe Biden, he sent a tweet to the Las Vegas Golden Knights saying, "Hey, congratulations on winning the city's first championship," which apparently he actually got wrong. Imagine that, Stephen, because the WNBA team had won that championship. So they had won a championship. It's just Joe Biden got it wrong. Again, he really should get away from sports and stick to things he actually, is an expert on, like, ice cream.
All right.
Ice cream and naked people on the lawn.
And that too.
Let me do mine. Mine is actually a weird one because I don't care about the Oakland A's. I don't care at all about them. They did a reverse boycott. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, bad idea.
And not only was it a bad idea, but they were pretty loud. I think 24,000 people came up there. But since I lost the Oilers as a kid, I've always hated franchises relocating. And don't get me wrong, I understand the why, and sometimes the fans are to blame. I get that. I just hate it because when it was announced that the Oilers got very good support. When it was announced that they were leaving, nobody went. Remember, it was like bags in the stands. So I don't like when franchises move, but I totally get it. But it brings me back to my youth and how devastated I was, and still am, that the Oilers left.
What I never got about the Oilers is it came down to like, hey, I need a new stadium. No. I need a new stadium. No. If you don't give me a new stadium, I'm going to move. Don't care. No new stadium. They wait, you moved? Hey, let's build a new stadium. Just the way they do things in Houston.
Well, there's more to the story than just that. Bud Adams.
I know it's Bud Adams.
Yeah.
He told you, don't give me a new stadium. I'm going to move. You moved. You said, I guess we need to build a new stadium.
Well,
they got a new stadium, or did they not?
They did. And actually, they got an NFL franchise way quicker than I expected because I think the Oilers left in 96.
Yeah, they did. They got it pretty quick.
And by 2002, we were back at it. So it was a very quick turnaround. How long did Cleveland have to wait?
Not very long.
Okay.
Maybe less than that.
Okay.
But imagine had they not moved, that could have been your team trying to extend the ball to the 1 yard line in the Super Bowl and coming a yard short. That could have been that could have been the Oilers.
They would have gotten it.
I think.
That's true.
They would have gotten it.
If it's been the Oilers, the pass would have probably been incomplete.
True, too. Hey, the biggest shame of that whole deal is that the Oilers logo and colors are gone.
That's true. Yeah. Well, the colors
That's
are
one of the best in sport.
Well, the colors may be coming back. There are rumors that
that'd be good.
That some of the color scheme may be returning.
Oh, that'd be good. I think if you leave town, you should at least make, like the Browns did, make the goodwill gesture, say, hey, we're going to let you keep the name.
And the history.
The history, yeah.
Earl Campbell did not run
for the Tennessee Titans.
No, he ran for the Houston Oilers.
Like one of the silliest things I ever saw was at Glendale, Arizona, that stadium, and they have Larry Wilson, a Hall of Fame safety for the St. Louis Cardinals, and they have his name.
Right.
Like anybody in Arizona can, relate to that.
The history should stay with the franchise.
Yes.
Steven, man, we appreciate you, brother.
Hey, y'all have a great weekend. Talk soon.
Talk to you, man. Stephen McGee here on the hotline. OB, you did a little extra work yesterday. You called me up, 4 o'clock, and you're like, hey, I got an interview for us, Austin Krajicek. So we're gonna talk to him here in a few minutes. Won the French Open, number 1 ranked guy in the world, in the doubles world. Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah,
we'll talk to him here
look
in a
forward
moment.
to it. I'm probably gonna ask some stupid questions because I'm not a tennis player.
It's all right. People can answer stupid questions.
Yeah, they do it all the time for me.
For our show, they do it. All right, we're going to do that. We'll get to your text messages there on the A&B text line. And Andrew Monaco, 10 o'clock hour. Billy Lucci going to join us at 9:35 as well. It's TexAgs Radio.
Sign up now for the Zone All Access newsletter, brought to you by Caliber, the wealth development company. Want to know what guests are coming on the show and when? Want to know the contests, the events, and what's going on with the Zone 1150 AM and 93.7 FM? Sign up for the Zone All Access newsletter at zone1150.com. You can call Caliber to learn how you can invest in commercial real estate. Call 979-977-2950. That's 979-977-2950. Or visit calibercode.com/Texas.
Protect your computers, tablets, and smartphones from hackers by looking for secure internet addresses that begin with HTTPS. It is an indication they are protected by a secure encrypted connection. Only encrypted websites can help secure your internet communications and act as your first line of defense against hackers. A public service message from the Consumer Electronics Association.
Your home for Aggie baseball, Aggie basketball, and Aggie football is the Zone, 1150 AM and 93.7 FM, plus online at RadioAggieland.com. This is KZNE College Station Bryan.
From WTAW, I'm Chelsea Reber with a news update on the Zone. Tuesday night's Bryan City Council meeting included an offer from Mayor Bobby Gutierrez to the College Station Council. College Station Mayor John Nichols on WTAW responded to Gutierrez supporting College Station's charge for sending ambulances into Bryan if College Station drops the idea of building a sewer trunk line along Rosemary Drive.
I don't see that as necessarily the point of some kind of a compromise trade-off on a sewer system. I think there are maybe other things we can talk about, and we're certainly willing to do that.
Nichols also said he heard the apology Gutierrez made Tuesday night for using the word bloodbath in reference to the sewer line project. Bryan's police chief and mayor present awards to a pair of civilians during Tuesday's city council meeting. Chief Eric Buskey presented BPD's civilian service citation to Jason Allen and Adam Richardson for assisting an officer who was shot last December.
They prioritized Officer Watson's life and welfare above their own, as it was unknown if the suspect was still on the scene.
Mayor Bobby Gutierrez presented Courageous Citizen Awards to Allen and Richardson, a City Valor Award to the officer who the civilians assisted, Najee Watson, and a City Hero Award to another officer, Sarah Popham. A 23-year-old College Station man is in the Brazos County Jail for the second time this month, the fifth time since mid-March, and the eighth time since April of last year.
Noah Perkins' latest arrest is on a charge of violating a criminal trespass warning from an apartment complex. The College Station Police arrest report states Perkins was sitting in a covered bus stop waiting area that's owned by the complex, which is across the street from a sorority house. The arresting officer wrote a letter to a judge saying Perkins has been issued trespass warnings at 11 locations. An online record showed Perkins served 90-day sentences for criminal trespassing last month and last year. Bond from the most recent arrest was set at $20,000. Bill Oliver, 1620 94.5 WTAW.
And I'm Chelsea Reber on the Zone.
There's only one best, and we want you to decide. Voting is now open for the 23rd annual Best of the Brazos Valley. Tell us who you like the best in dining, shopping, wellness, services, and everything that makes this the best place to live. Vote online now at bestofthebrazos.com. Thanks in part to our sponsors, Copybridge Bar and Grill, Gladney Automotive Solutions, Dr. Malcolm Rood of Brazos Valley Plastic Surgery, and Summit Veterinary Hospital. Voting closes July 5th. You get one vote, so make it count at bestofthebrazos.com.
Twin City Mission offers programs to address homelessness, violence and abuse, family conflict, youth in crisis, and life skills deficiency and poverty. Twin City Mission, they've got a vision. They want individuals and families to have the opportunity for hope, acceptance, and stability in a safe and caring environment. Twin City Mission, if you need help, they'd love to talk to you. Twin City Mission, if you would like to help, they would love to talk to you. You can go now to twincitymission.org.
I'm Sean Burnett with your Aggie Sports Minute on the Zone. This update is brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. Call 936-825-0500 or click hillcosupply.com. Texas A&M football has learned its 2024 opponent lineup as the SEC announced conference opponents last night. The Texas A&M and Texas rivalry will resume in 2024 with the Longhorns coming to visit Kyle Field. It'll be the 119th installment of the series that dates back to 1894. It'll be the first game played since 2011. The Aggies will also face LSU, Missouri, and Notre Dame at home. They'll also have a designated home game against Arkansas in the Southwest Classic at AT&T Stadium. Their road SEC schedule will include trips to Auburn, Florida, Mississippi State, and South Carolina. Dates and times for the 2024 conference slate will be announced at a later date. The Texas A&M System Board of Regents held a special meeting Wednesday where 4 personnel items were approved. One that involves the flagship campus was the Regents giving the authority to the president to negotiate and execute a new contract with head men's basketball coach Buzz Williams. Texas A&M golfer Jenny Parks' strong play during the Aggies' run to the SEC Championship and the semifinals at the NCAA Championships was recognized with a spot on the Golf Week All-American second team. It was the second All-American honor of the season for Park, who was also named to the Women's Golf Coaches Association All-American second team. And that's your Aggie Sports Minute, brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. On The Zone, I'm Sean Burnett.
It's Larry from Shelby, previously on the Paul Feinbaum Show.
Matt is up next in Tennessee. Hey, Matt.
Hey, what's up, brother?
We're doing great.
I hear you. You're almost through the day, man.
We decided that even though we were still on, Randy opened up the studio bar. So we're a little buzzed right now, but don't let us stop you.
It's the Paul Feinbaum Show, powered by Polaris Fun Center, 2 to 4 weekdays on The Zone.
All right, we got to roll with it here on TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Appreciate everybody listening in. All right, this is going to be a fun interview. OB set this one up. Following a heartbreak at the end of 2022 at the Roland Garros Championship match, Austin Krajicek and his partner Ivan Dodig won their first major on Saturday. It was super exciting. People talking about it all over TexAgs there on the clay court, winning the French Open. And he is our guest here on TexAgs Radio. Austin, good morning, buddy. How are you?
Doing great. Thank you guys for having me.
No, thank you, man. So just talk a little bit about the whole experience, something I'm sure you envisioned your entire life, winning your first Grand Slam. Take me through the emotions.
Yeah, man, it's hard to put it into words, really, the emotions after it finished up a few days ago, especially after last year in Paris having such a disappointing finish. It was pretty cool to bundle it in to becoming number one as well. And obviously those are two of my lifelong goals that I've had since I was 5 years old. So it was pretty special to be able to finish the job there in Paris and get home and celebrate a little bit with family.
Hey, Austin, I hope that this is Olin Buchanan. I hope this doesn't sound like a really stupid question, even though it might. As somebody who's not a tennis player, right? So
sure.
What is the key to being a strong doubles player? I mean, is every good singles player going to automatically be a good doubles player? And what's the key to becoming elite in doubles?
Yeah, no, I would say, definitely not that every a great singles player could be a good doubles player. It is a bit more specific. So just the way you approach the game, practices and all of that, it is a more specific. Also, there's a little bit of a different skill set. Of course, just being a good tennis player overall will give you the ability to transition if you work hard enough and do the right things. But, my skill set tailors a bit more towards doubles as I like to come forward. I like to play an aggressive style of game and still serve and volley. There are more guys now that stay back in doubles, but for the most part, the idea is to get to the net and play aggressive and put pressure on your opponent. So not necessarily, but there are certain guys that definitely have a skill set that tailors specifically more for doubles than singles.
Austin, let's kind of go through your growth here. Just from last year, that heartbreaking end to where you finished this year there at the French Open. Like, what happens after a heartbreak like that? Are you going to the courts the very next day? Does it change anything you go about your business? Do you trust the process? Kind of take me through that journey.
Sure. Yeah, it was difficult. Tennis is a unique sport in the regard that you can have the best week of your career, which the finals last year was. So you're on such a high going into the finals, and then 2.5 hours later, you're completely devastated, and it's one of the toughest moments of your career. All bundled into the same time. So it's strange. I mean, you have to let it digest. I mean, luckily for me, my partner Ivan Dodig is obviously one of the best players ever, and he's got a lot of experience. Had several Grand Slam wins and some tough losses in finals as well. So being able to lean on him, I think at the time, obviously, it's a very difficult loss to swallow, but looking back on it now, I think it was an experience that we needed, especially me, that I needed to grow from and get better and just kind of develop as a player and a person. You have to go through those tough moments. And no, we weren't on the court the next day, but we did fly home that following day and then kind of take a couple of days to kind of digest it. And then, the good and bad thing about tennis is once you finish a tournament, the next week you're going to the next place and you're starting over from scratch. So last year it was a great that was the case, so we finished a tough tournament like that. And then, the next week we're competing again in Halle in a tournament in Germany on grass court. So you kind of have to turn the page quickly and prepare yourself to play well the next week. So you kind of try to shake it off and focus on the next tournament. But the same is true for this year. Obviously we had a great finish in Paris this year, but at the same time we turn the page and we start a new tournament next Monday in London. So, it's kind of a never-ending process for us, but I think it was what we needed last year, something to learn from and build on for the future.
Austin, you're the number 1 rated doubles player in the world right now, but it's my understanding that not until May of 2022, you had never been in the top 30. So what has changed for you?
Yeah, I would say the margins, especially in doubles and singles as well, I think just in tennis in general, are so razor thin. I've had some good wins in the past. We've beaten some number 1 teams, even as though I wasn't ranked in the top 30. We still have beaten some guys that were ranked at the top or in the top 10. And so that you can do it, but it is a difference, thinking in saying that you can do it and actually being able to achieve it. So, I think the little things changed. My coach, Philip Farmer, and I, the last couple of years, we've made worked really hard, kept our head down and trying to focus on the process and just develop the little skills that make a difference late in matches. I mean, literally these doubles matches come down to 1 or 2 points a lot of times. And that's the difference between, winning the tournament and moving up in the rankings or losing a tough third set tiebreaker like we had in the first round this year in Paris, and those are the matches that can really change not only the tournament, but the path of your career. And, you have to have some things go your way and get a little fortunate as well. So we were able to, work on those little things and it kind of came together last week in Paris at the right time. And that's what it's all about.
Austin, talk to us a little bit about your relationship with Steve Denton. I think he was there with you this weekend, right?
Yeah, he was there the whole time, all 2 weeks for every match and almost every practice. It was really awesome to have him part of the team there and felt like old times a little bit.
All right, let's get to what's really important here. I'm looking at a chart that shows the winner's share of Paris at the prize money in U.S. dollars is $2,496,039. What does France taxes do to that? And do you have to pay U.S. taxes too?
You definitely have to pay taxes. That's actually the singles prize money winnings, which is a little bit more than
my bad. It says both here.
No, that's okay. That sounds pretty good, though. No, but they do take some tax out of that, and we obviously have to pay.
Oh, here, I'm sorry. Yeah, I was way off. Actually, it's $614,231 U.S. dollars. So I was looking at the wrong chart. My bad. I still would take that payday.
That's all right. Yeah, and that's per team, so you got to split that in half as well. But it starts.
I'm taking that payday,
quick, but it's still an awesome. Yeah, it's an awesome week for us, and we invest a lot in our team, our coaches, and everything to get the opportunity to get there. And they do take some tax out of it, though. Unfortunately,
is the tax rate in France
worse than
the United States?
No. Well, I think they take just 15% off the top, and then you have to kind of revisit it later. You know, when you come to the April timeframe next year. But yeah, you know, that's all part of the deal. But we're just excited to finish the job and bring the trophy home. So,
hey, Austin, how'd you end up at Texas A&M?
Yeah, you know, when I was 17, 18, I was at IMG Academy in Florida at Bolletari's, and was a little bit on the fence of going to school or turning pro directly, which a lot of guys took that route at that time. And yeah, Coach Denton and Coach McKinley convinced me to take a visit out to A&M, and I'd only been to A&M one time for a junior tournament back in the day, and so I decided to come, and obviously I think Coach Denton and Coach McKinley were absolutely the reason I chose Texas A&M. Is, you know, obviously being such great people, but they had every experience on the tennis court that I wanted to have. Coach Denton winning a Grand Slam, you know, being 11 in the world in singles, and 2 in the world in doubles, and then Coach McKinley being top 50 and playing center court Wimbledon, and all these things that I wanted to do as a pro athlete. They had the experience, so it was cool. So I came and loved A&M right away, loved all the traditions, had an amazing time at the football game, and really got along well with the team, and decided to come out to College Station. And I still tell people that's probably the best decision I've made in my career so far. So not only to go to college in general, but to pick Texas A&M. And you know, as soon as I came to A&M, I felt like I was a Texan right away, and you know, and they told us, you know, once you're an Aggie, you're always an Aggie, and I still feel that way today. So anytime I can make it back to College Station, we always try to make a couple football games a year, and it's always pretty special to have, you know, Coach Denton there this week and be able to catch up with him and be a part of the team. It's been a great experience for me.
Yeah, David asked you about your relationship with Coach Denton, but I'm going to take a little bit a step further. What influence or what impact did he have on you as far as your tennis game and developing it? And then did you always feel like doubles was the way to – I know you're a really good singles player too, but doubles was a way to really distinguish yourself, or was it something that you just realized over time?
Yeah, sure. I mean, my relationship with Coach Denton has been amazing from day one. I mean, he does an incredible job of making the team feel like family. And, yeah, I think not just on the tennis court has he influenced, I think, in all aspects of life. He's such a tremendous guy and you know, really an amazing coach. So, you know, coming to college, now, actually at the moment, they have this trial in place in pro tennis where the coaching, you can coach while you're on court. But at the time that I went to school, and really as before last year, that wasn't the case. So you could not be coached in pro tennis while you're playing. So in college tennis is one of the only times in our sport that you can have a coach on the court with you and be able to kind of see the game through their eyes. You know, obviously, so Coach Denton and McKinley with all the success they've had on tour, and it was really cool to be able to have them on the court with you in those big moments and in big matches and difficult situations, to kind of see it the way they do and kind of try to learn from their experience and deal with tough situations. So I think that was a tremendous influence on my tennis right away from day one at A&M. And I think, you know, my skill set is a bit more tailored towards doubles. So I had some more success in doubles as a junior, and then coming to school, you know, we had quite a few wins in doubles at A&M, and were able to win the NCAAs that last year, indoors and outdoors, which was pretty cool. But so I would say, you know, I did have a little bit more success with doubles initially, but you know, that's just one of those things that I focused on singles for 8 or 9 years coming out of school, and you know, I just decided to make a run in doubles at the end that I could possibly, you know, try to win Grand Slams like we were able to do last week, and make a push towards the top of the rankings, as opposed to, you know, kind of hanging around 100 in the rankings. And, you know, that's a bit tougher playing some different level tournaments and so forth. So, yeah, I would say, you know, doubles has always been a little bit more of something that I really enjoy to do as opposed to singles.
Austin, I got a really dumb question, but I got to ask. Do you have to be friends with your partner? Like, it's not like a team, right, where there's like it is a team, but there's not like 11 guys that you're having to spend time with. It's right. You and somebody else. Do you have to be buds? Do you have to hang for the chemistry to work? How does that whole kind of relationship work?
Yeah, you absolutely don't have to be friends. There's no doubt about that. There's a lot of teams in throughout history that don't get along, and just look at it a bit more as a business. But it certainly does help. A lot of times you spend more times with your partner than your significant other, so you have to be able to get along. I mean, on the court, off the court, and luckily for us, Yvonne and I are great friends, and we connect really well, both on the court and off the court. But I think, it's important not just for your game styles to match, your strengths and weaknesses to match with his, but I think also your mentalities. I think it's almost more important that your approaches to, preparation for practice, preparation for tournament weeks, your scheduling, how you handle losses, how you handle wins, that stuff. It sounds easy, but it actually is extremely rare to find someone that you're on the same page with in all aspects. And, of course, anybody can get along when you're winning and doing well, but when you go through those tough stretches of weeks where you have some tough first-round losses and some third-set tiebreaker losses, where that's really where the chemistry is built there. And I think it certainly helps a lot to get along with your partner. That's no question about that.
So you think Coach Denton's going to drop your name or ask you to help him out in recruiting in some ways moving forward now that you're the best in the world?
Yeah, man. Anytime I can help, I'm always willing to help the Aggies, and I hope he does. I'm always chatting with some younger guys, and I think college is a fantastic route for these young kids that come out of these big academies and have the choice between going professional or coming to school. I think I'm always in support of going to school, and of course I'm a little bit biased for Texas A&M, so I would always willing to help the Aggies.
Hey, Austin, last thing for you. Just what is it? I mean, I guess you'll find out this weekend and moving forward, but what does winning a major do for you? Like, what is it mindset-wise when you step on the court? Does it change anything? Or I guess we're going to have to wait and find out.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But, no, obviously it's been a huge goal of mine since I was 5 years old to win a Grand Slam and be number one. But, I don't think the process changes at all. I mean, we have the good thing about tennis is there's always 100 things you can do better. And, I could list off 50 things that we could do better. I could do better individually. We could do better as a team at the moment. So, there's so much room for growth still. And we have so many goals that we want to accomplish in tournaments that, I'd love to be fortunate enough to say that you won. So, there's a never-ending process to get better. And I don't think it changes much. Obviously, it's fantastic to get that first one. That's always a little bit difficult, obviously, especially with how we lost, last year in the finals with 3 championship points. And having a difficult moment like that, it feels good to kind of get the monkey off your shoulder a little bit and get that first one under the belt. So hopefully, it helps relax a little bit, and then we can focus on the right things and just on playing better tennis in general.
Austin, man, congratulations on all your success. We expect to see a bunch more of it, and thank you so much for making a few minutes for us.
Yeah, good luck at Wimbledon.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Austin Krychek there on the hotline.
Isn't that next? Wimbledon?
He said London.
Yeah.
We are such tennis savants.
I don't know a lot about tennis. I know love is 0.
Yeah.
And you got to hit it over the net.
You know what I love? I love winners that wear Texas A&M colors, right?
A lot of them lately.
Yeah.
The guy at Le Mans.
Yeah.
And
Sam Bennett, buddy.
Sam Bennett, Nick Savage's rodeo guy.
Nick Savage, yeah, who he trained him.
Yeah.
I think as a TexAgs family, we get credit for that.
I think so.
Even though it happened way before he was even here. OB, thanks for setting that up, man. Appreciate you. All right, right now we're talking a little Camp Rock Health System. They are known for their highly personalized emergency care that if you go there, the patients that go to Camp Rock, I should say, will benefit from a very unique one-on-one experience. And should your stay require to be there a little bit longer, they're going to manage every element of your visit. They have a very low patient-to-doctor-nurse ratio, which means their medical team is going to get to know you and your individual needs. And they got those hotel-quality rooms. And I'm telling you, my mom was in the hospital recently in Houston, and it makes such a difference being in an environment where you're happy. It just changes your whole outlook out there, and that's what they strive to do there at Cap Rock Health System. They are patient-centered revolution care. And they want to make sure that you know that they're going to put the patient first in every decision that they make, 100% locally owned and operated. You get 2 convenient state-of-the-art facilities designed for patient healing and family friendliness. You got Cap Rock Hospital in Bryan and Cap Rock 24-hour Emergency Center in College Station. Both have 0 wait time for emergency care. You'll never have to sit in a crowded waiting room. Cap Rock Hospital in Bryan and Cap Rock 24-hour Emergency Center in College Station.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on The Zone. The theater company of Bryan College Station presents SpongeBob the Musical. Performances run through Sunday. Purchase tickets online at theatercompany.com/tickets. Early registration is open for the 15th annual Buffalo Stampede Race, presented by the Brazos Valley Museum of Natural History. Use code EARLYBIRD23 for 20% off. Register at brazosvalleymuseum.org. United Way of the Brazos Valley invites you to take part in its upcoming Day of Action. Help assemble 1,500 baby bundles for local newborns the morning of Wednesday, June 21st at SOS Ministries. Find more information and sign up at uwbv.org. The Adam Reuter Masonic Lodge in Welborn is holding a pork butt fundraiser. Find the lodge on Facebook for more information. You can hear Houston Astros baseball all summer long on The Zone and select games on Gospel 97.3 FM thanks to Kelly Bertdozer. That's your community calendar. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
Friends, the year's almost half over, and you're still dealing with that knee or hip pain. Enough is enough. Pills are not the answer. Surgery is not the answer. You need to call QC Kinetics today. Hey, it's David Nuño, and the advanced regenerative medicine solutions at QC Kinetics can give you a life without chronic joint pain, and you can do all those summer activities you used to enjoy. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in taking healing properties from your own body and applying them directly into your achy joints so your joint tissue can be repaired and restored naturally. This treatment is truly revolutionary. Patients across America are having life-changing results, and there are no drugs, no surgery, and no downtime. If you have pain in your knees, your back, your hips, your shoulders, or your hips, you need to stop what you're doing and call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation. Learn how the latest advances in regenerative medicine can give you your life back. Call QC Kinetics, 979-452-6000. QC Kinetics, 979-452-6000. That is 979-452-6000.
The flagship station for Aggie Athletics is The Zone. Whenever the Aggies are playing, you can hear them right here at 1150 and 93.7 FM. Thanks to our listeners and Aggie broadcast sponsors, Zwerneman Flooring, Lance Lester at the Lester Group, Specs Wines, Spirits, and Finer Foods, and Amarillo National Bank. Here's a big gig-em to all these sponsors. Listen to Aggie Athletics on The Zone 1150 and 93.7 FM.
On the Louis Bellina Show, participation is encouraged and it is rewarded. You can call me each day, Monday through Friday, 11 to 2 at 979-693-1150. You and I can hang out on the Smoothie King hotline, or maybe you're a texter, 979-693-1150. Hit send. I read all your text messages Monday through Friday, 11 to 2, inside the Texas Mobile One Lube Express inbox.
Nick Savage, buddy, I gotta give you props. You picked some songs on this playlist that's got, what, 684 songs, whatever it's got.
I'm not going to lie to you, David. I don't know what song this is. I put it on there, but I don't know what it is.
Check the rhyme.
Is it by, oh, it's by, that's Tribe Called Quest. Okay.
Thank you very much.
There you go, yeah.
Q-Tip, Fife, Ali Shaheed Muhammad. I know, huge in the Brazos Valley. I mean, people were jamming them on every street I've been on.
They're not that bad. I mean, when I was putting it together, they're pretty good. They're catchy. I like it.
Yep. They're some of the pioneers of the old hip-hop world. TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. So I found this quote from the Ohio State athletic director, that Gene Smith, that kind of caught my attention. I'd like to get the panel, when I say the panel, the Lukes of the world, the Knicks of the world's thoughts on this. So you know that Ohio State recently has lost to Michigan the last couple of years. For a while, it was Jim Harbaugh on the hot seat because he couldn't beat Ohio State. The last couple of years, Michigan having no problem with Ohio State. So they asked Gene Smith about it, and he goes, it's so funny. Everybody's so focused on that one game. We're basically 1 point away from being in the national championship game, and I think we got the 2 points that we needed to convert and ultimately play TCU. I feel confident we would have performed well and won a national championship. I'm not sure about all this chatter. Two things. But you didn't. You didn't win. You can only use that line if you win. Yeah, we lost to our rival, but we won the freaking championship, bro. We had a bad week, but we won it all. You didn't. You lost to TCU. All right? Yeah, they did. Yeah, they lost to TCU. I had to go back in memory. If you lose, you can't go back and say, had we won, it would have been okay that we lost to Michigan. No, because you lost both. Luke?
Well, first of all, my mom is a Michigan fan, so this really hits close to home. I don't like Ohio State at all, and I think they're in the same sense of the entitlement that we talk about with Texas. Ohio State has that, and Michigan has really leveled the playing field recently with recruiting and beating them on the field. And so, yeah, you can't say if this, then that, if this, then that again, when you got absolutely blown out at home by Michigan by 17 or 20 points. The game wasn't even close. And to say, oh, but, we were so close. We were 2 points away. You can't say that. You had an opportunity to perform against Michigan. You didn't. You got embarrassed. And that's the end of that.
Yeah. By the way, I do agree that if you win a national championship, I don't care. Like, okay, you lost your rival that year. I'd rather have both, right? If you're going to have, but I'd take the national championship victory over the rival victory. But give me both, because you're a national championship caliber team. You should win both of those. But they lost. Nick Savage, what say you?
Yeah, I think Luke wrapped it up pretty well. I mean, I'm with y'all on this one. You can't, like Luke said, can't say if this, then that when, you lost both those games. So I think Luke wrapped it up well.
Well, look, I do agree, though, that I think Ohio State, Georgia would have been a better game. I do believe that. Do you guys agree?
Wait, they played.
I'm sorry. Oh,
yeah.
Sorry.
Oh.
Hello.
My bad.
Sorry, the national championship game would have been better.
Ohio State with.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Without a doubt. It definitely wouldn't have been
not
60.
Not the semifinal.
Whatever.
The final. Yeah.
3, whatever it was.
And by the way, I know that David Edmonds is going to send a text here in a minute because he hates everything about TCU getting into the national championship game. But TCU deserved it. Under the current parameters that we have in today's world, they deserved it. They deserve to be in the championship game. You can be like, hey, they don't play anybody. They won the game that mattered to get there. Agree or disagree?
One of the best semifinal games ever outside of that Oklahoma-Georgia Rose Bowl game, I believe. Yeah. TCU deserved it. They had a great year, and can't take that away from them. Obviously, they didn't like the national championship result, but that playoff game with Michigan was one of the most exciting games of that season and probably in the playoffs ever. I'm
very interested to see how TCU does this year. I'm very interested to see how they come back because obviously Max Duggan's not there. I forget the quarterback's name there, but I had heard from people close to the program that this guy is actually better than Duggan, but just Duggan was a winner, right? And there is something about being a winner. We've seen it here at A&M before. Like, you may not have all the best quarterback skills, but if you know how to win games, that's what matters. That's what, here, I'm going to open up some text messages in a moment that are going to, but Tim Tebow in the NFL, underrated. Hot sports take. Because he won games. Yeah, he sucked, but he won games. Both can be true. And I'm sure I'm going to open up a bunch of text messages about that. All right, when we come back here on TexAgs Radio, Billy Lucci is going to join us. We'll talk a little bit more about the schedule. Looking forward to chatting with Billy. I've got a couple other areas I want to go with him. The Miles O'Neill news that we actually haven't been able to get into with Luke over there. So we'll do that. We'll get some updates on recruiting. We'll get his thoughts on some of the schedules out there. That and much, much more. But right now we are talking about Caldwell Country Chevrolet. They are on Highway 21. They are in Caldwell, and they are online at CaldwellCountryChevrolet.com. If you've purchased a vehicle from Caldwell Country Chevrolet, you're going to know that it's going to be a very smooth, painless process. Now, spending a lot of money is not ideal, right? Well, nobody wants to spend a bunch of money, but when it comes time to buying a vehicle, you want to go somewhere that, going to be taken care of. You're going to find the right vehicle, the right price, and make sure that you get the best customer service out there. And that, in a nutshell, is Caldwell Country Chevrolet. They're going to give you the best price point, also give you a great trade-in value. And then you apply it to your next vehicle, and you're going to be very happy about it. It's not a far drive, 15 minutes. Brian and Caldwell, short conversation away. But you'll see the difference when you step on the lot and do business with the fellows there at Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Highway 21 in Caldwell, online, CaldwellCountryChevrolet.com.
We are going. Are you ready? The Zone 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. Our blood, our sweat, their tears.
It's time. Oh, here we go! Let's go!
Howdy, this is Brad Beard with Intercon. You would not buy a car, boat, or major appliance if the warranty only covered material, leaving you to pay labor, freight, and other charges. So don't make the same mistake when making a window or glass purchase. With many players in the window industry, limited warranties are truly limited. At Intercon, the warranties we provide cover 100% of the cost to get the product performing as it should. The labor and freight charges on other vendors' warranties can add up to hundreds, even thousands of dollars. Ask questions about other warranties offered. What costs are not covered? Are they transferable? What happens if a vendor goes out of business? Intercon does not represent any fly-by-night manufacturers who change their name and product line continually. We have long-standing relationships with our vendors and offer the best warranties in the business. Years down the road, Intercon will still be in the Brazos Valley, making sure the product we sold you lives up to expectations. Call Intercon and get the best product at the best price with the best service.
When it comes to windows for your most valuable asset, trust your local friends and neighbors from Intercon. Call Brad Beard with Intercon at 823-3639. That's 823-3639 for Intercon today.
Voted best in the Brazos Valley since opening, Cooper's Old Time Pit Barbecue takes pride in procuring the best cuts of meat and has a passion for providing you with the best barbecue. Cooked cowboy style over mesquite coals. With a full bar, large dining area, 2 party rooms, and porch with a fenced turf grass area for the kids, there's no wonder why they're the best. Experience the taste of locally Aggie-owned, nationally recognized Cooper's Old Time Pit Barbecue. Proud supporter of Texas A&M Athletics.
Ground Shuttle is the Brazos Valley's premier transportation provider, well known for frequent and reliable rides to the Houston airports. Did you know that Ground Shuttle also offers private car service and charter service? For game day or any day, you can book any vehicle in their fleet to accommodate your group size and needs, from luxury sedans to full-size shuttles. It's the hassle-free way to get your group to sporting events and concerts, corporate meetings and dinners, and evening out, and the airport too. Learn more at groundshuttle.com. Ground Shuttle, let us do the driving.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
Dan Graziano, ESPN NFL insider. Justin Fields will lead the Bears to the playoffs this year. Overreaction or not an overreaction?
I say not an overreaction. I don't know if I'm willing to pick it, but I wouldn't be shocked. I mean, the NFC field is pretty wide open, and there's going to be 7 teams in the playoffs. And, I could see them making a big jump. They had a big offseason. He's a guy that seems to be, all about the work of getting better, and I think we'll see improvement there. Who knows? You could be a 9-8 playoff team at the Bears, I think.
Yeah, I think it's an overreaction.
Sure. All right.
Yeah. They could, right, the conference, the division, but I don't think they're there yet. I think if this was 2024 we were talking about, then I would be like, oh, it's not an overreaction, but this is so an overreaction.
Next year, that's a realistic expectation. I'm not trying to put that on Justin Fields this year.
It's Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, powered by WC Tractor, here on Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM.
TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Shiri on the text line says, guys, Ohio State lost to Georgia, not Michigan. Actually, Ohio State lost to Michigan in the last regular season game. Am I correct on that one, Luke?
Yep.
That's 2 years in a row now. So, no, they lost to both. Anyway, let's get into the scheduled talk. Let's get into some other football notes with Billy Lucci, the executive editor and co-owner of TexAgs Radio. Hello, Billy.
Hello, David. How are you?
I'm well, sir. How are you? It's been a long time.
I'm good.
I'm good. So now that we've...
Let's get to it. Let's get down to it.
Well, let's get into it. All right, so we did a whole luchador on the schedule. All right, we'll go short. We did a whole thing on the luchador, but let's just talk a little bit, some thoughts now that you've had time to sleep on the A&M schedule.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. I don't think they got the easiest draw. I think it's one of the easier... Not easier, let's call it. I never want to say easy in the SEC. One of the more manageable ones. I do think the irony is, outside of probably Arkansas, Texas got as good a draw as I've seen, which is crazy in their first year in the league. To miss Bama, miss LSU. They did catch Georgia. It really is an SEC East kind of schedule. Without seeing Tennessee, LSU, or Bama. So A&M missed 2 of those 3 plus Georgia though. So I think the Aggies would probably be, if I haven't really studied all 14, but I wouldn't shock me if we went through them and rated A&M as the 3rd most manageable. Certainly in the top, you go through it all, certainly they'd be in the top 5. And it really doesn't matter to me as much as, remember, these games are 2 years away, too, so we have no freaking idea. Florida could be an absolute monster in 2 years under Napier. Most people don't believe they will, but who knows? Eli Drinkwitz could right the ship at Missouri and end up having a really good team, so we'll see.
Billy, I think one of the things that stands out, though, it's going to be year 3 for Connor and a bunch of those 2022s, and what that can mean, because they should be hitting their peak time at Texas A&M, and this is what we've been building for. And seeing Billy Lucci disappointed with the questioning there, I will then go on and tell you my thoughts on it, because year 3 of Connor, year 3 of Walter, year 3 of Evan, year 3 of the whole crew, Bryce Anderson, right? Like year 3. And again, this is going to sound like a next year Nuño commentary, but that is the year you're supposed to bring it. We initially thought that we were going to bring it this year, right? Or this past year. It didn't happen. But these guys building towards this moment, to me, is the most impressive part of the schedule. Because, look, if I were to tell you a few years before, that you're going to get Notre Dame, Texas, all at Kyle Field, if I were to tell you that, I think you would have been like, all right, well, who's going to be the crew that gets it done? And I am banking on those guys getting it done. I'm absolutely banking on those guys getting it done. And that's why this year will be very important to that journey. That's why this year, however they do, will be because I'm going to tell you, you have a rough year this year. Billy's, I think, has no service where he's at, so we're probably not going to be able to get him. But you can try one more time, guys. But to me, this particular year, this 2023 season, whatever season you think that they're going to have, you think they're going to be 8-4, 6-6, 9-3, 10-2. This season is the setup. It's the appetizer for what 2024 should be. Now, I want it to be this year. I want them both to be, the whole shebang. We all do. But there's a huge leap of faith that you have to take from 5-7 to talking about being in playoff contention, right? Talent-wise, they're there. Without a doubt, talent-wise, they are there. But getting it all done. And look, when you look at some of the teams that they're going to be playing against, Billy mentioned one of the more manageable SEC schedules. It is a manageable schedule, no doubt about it. I mean, Texas, LSU, Missouri, Notre Dame, all at home. Away, the Arkansas game, at Jerry World, Auburn, Florida, Mississippi State, South Carolina. Very manageable. Instead of predicting what those teams could look like, bottom line is, don't worry about them. If you are trending in the right direction, line them all up and let's go. Texas believes that they're building towards that. They feel like they've been trending, at least from a personnel standpoint, to an SEC team. Texas A&M has done it. They have been building it. And I'm one of those who will take a step back from this all and be like, 2022 was what was needed to do what we need to do. At least that's what I'm banking on, right? Because it's not going to be given to you. If you don't go through what you went through in 2022, can you really get to that next level? Yeah, of course you can. But I'm hoping that these players use that as that next step. We can't allow, everybody, learning process through NIL, through the transfer portal, through young players being a big part of your roster. I am hoping that this past season that we just had, I should say, was what you had to go through to be on the other side at the top of the mountain, right? You're climbing that mountain. You get to what you think is close to the top, 2020 season. You take the wrong step and you fall. And now you're more determined than ever. Now you're more focused than you've ever been. I think we've got Billy on there. I'm going to try to take Billy on. Billy, when we last spoke, I was leaving it at how this 2022 class, this will be year 3, and Connor potentially year 3 under center, and what that can mean, and everything you've gone to build for that moment.
Oh, no question about it, David. I mean, that's look, they've been building to succeed before year 7, which is what that'll be. And they really have to succeed this year. Who knows what year 7 will look like, right? Like we get that. And by the way, there's a big difference between this team going 8-4 this year or this team going 10-2. If this group goes 10-2 this year, you might roll into 24, and all of a sudden you look at that schedule and go, who should be better than us? Returning all these guys in year 3, like you talk about. 8-4, you kind of go, okay, we got back to what we've been. Is that going to ever change? This schedule gives us a chance to. We'll see. So how this year goes plays obviously a massive role, and if things go worse, then you run the risk of, then you got defections and departures, and how does that affect your team in 24? And that goes for everyone, David. I'd say everyone in this league outside of, Georgia and Bama, that goes for. That applies to. So we'll see. Time will tell, but I do think A&M's in a good position for 24, but they've got to set it up in 23. And I'm not sitting here saying, wait till year 7. But it's not the case. Like, the time for them to start making a move is this year. And there is a different feel over there. There really is. And the players have said it. The coaches have said it. People I've talked to have said it. People who have told me when there's, a little bit of a negative vibe or some dysfunction or, wondering about culture or something over the many years and many different coaching staffs, even they're kind of maybe even a little reluctant to kind of jump in, but saying, man, it is definitely different. It's noticeably different. So we'll see. I mean, it's such a fine line in this league. It's like, do you win a couple close games in September against Miami, Auburn, and Arkansas, and then how much does that change the outlook moving forward? So it's looking ahead is risky business in SEC when it comes to SEC football for everyone, good or bad.
Billy, let's talk about Miles O'Neill. I know the news came down yesterday. What kind of player are the Aggies getting in him?
Love that arm. Love the accuracy. Love the deep ball. Love all the throws down the field. I mean, it is pinpoint, the arm strength. I've seen people compare him to Calzada and Starkle. They say, oh, look at that arm. And then they, immediately go, well, we've had big-armed quarterbacks that haven't, ended up having a lot of success. I'd say watching his tape, the thing that stands out most of all is the accuracy. It's on a whole nother level. Again, this doesn't guarantee anything, especially with the way A&M's recruiting quarterbacks. I'm getting more and more excited about Marcel Reed the more I hear about him, So, but when you're looking at Miles O'Neill, I think the thing that stands out is where he puts that football. It's like he's just handing it off to the receiver down the field. It's uncanny, and that I guarantee you that and just the arm strength are what really attracted Jimbo and Petrino to him when they saw him on tape, and then probably when they saw him on person as well.
Billy, do you expect some movement on the recruiting director front here over the next month or so?
Oh, yeah, over the next month for sure. I think they were hoping to get something done almost immediately. I get the feeling that they might have moved on from maybe the intended replacement there, because from everything I'd heard, he would have taken the job. It was not. I'm not going to say who it was. They stayed where they were at, but it wasn't like some massive name. It was from a successful Power 5 program. And I think for whatever reason, I think they tapped on that one and are now on the move, looking for Meshack's replacement. But I think the preference would be to get it done quite quickly here. They're not going to have it done before this round of camps, but he's got a big recruiting event next month, so they need to get that handled.
All right, Billy. Appreciate your time, buddy.
All right, buddy. See ya.
See ya. Billy Lucci on the hotline. Breaking it down. All right, let's hit a break here. A bunch of text messages coming in about the whole Ohio State AD thing. David Edmond, of course, his ears perked up. He's got some thoughts. Everybody's got some thoughts, so we'll get into those. But right now we're talking Heritage Films. That is a company that makes documentary films. So I've been watching this Arnold Schwarzenegger documentary. Freaking good. Like, it's really good. Like it's done really well. And I'm like, man, this is like a Chance documentary. I'm for reals. Like, I don't know why I put a Z at the end of for real, but I'm for reals when I talk about it. Good documentaries done the right way. I'm glued to them. It doesn't even matter if I care about the guy or not. Like, when there's a documentary is done in a good way, I'm all ears, and that's what Chance does. He does these documentaries about families. He does them about family ranches. He does them about the patriarch in your family. He does it about a family get-together, family reunion, family ranches, you name it. Chance does that story for just normal Joes out there, and then you can share that family story for generation after generation. First-class stuff. I'm telling you, Chance is the best at telling these stories. And he's going to be releasing really soon stuff for kids. I already told you about the ranches and the businesses that he's working on. But it's just a really first-class process. 8 to 10 weeks to get it done, and you got yourself a documentary that you can share with your kids and their grandkids and grandkids after that. Just an awesome thing. YourHeritageFilm.com is the website. YourHeritageFilm.com. 713-893-8341. 713-893-8341. It's Heritage Films.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on The Zone. Troop Over the Hill continues its Friday night movie series this week with Annie. Doors open to the Main Street Playhouse at 5:30. The movie starts at 6. This Friday, the Brazos Valley Astronomy Club is hosting a star party at Dr. Spearman's Observatory in Robertson County. Visit brazosvalleyastronomyclub.org for more information. Come out to a Juneteenth Freedom Day celebration this Saturday at the Carver Event Center from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Free food, fun, and activities for the whole family. The Bryan Amateur Radio Club will hold its annual ARRL Field Day exercises at Earl Graham Post 159 on Saturday, June 24th and Sunday, June 25th. The public is invited to observe and will be offered an opportunity to speak on the radio to other hams across the country. Learn more on the club's Facebook page. Sign up for the Zone All Access newsletter brought to you by Caliber, the wealth development company. Sign up now at zone1150.com. That's your community calendar. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
There's only one best, and we want you to decide. Voting is now open for the 23rd annual Best of the Brazos Valley. Tell us who you like the best in dining, shopping, wellness, services, and everything that makes this the best place to live. Vote online now at bestofthebrazos.com. Thanks in part to our sponsors, CC Creations, The Warehouse, and Maroon U, Schulte Roofing, Aggieland Apartment Finders, and Stewart Elms Orthodontics. Voting closes July 5th. You get one vote, so make it count at bestofthebrazos.com.
Need a place to call home? Lone Star Realty Group has a wide selection of properties to choose from. Looking for local experienced real estate professionals to work with? Well, Lone Star Realty has served the Brazos Valley for over 17 years. Want to work with a local company backed by Compass? The largest, most innovative independent brokerage in America? Lone Star Realty, a strong local brand with instant recognition, wants to meet you. Visit LoneStarBCS.com. Lone Star Realty Group. Experience, integrity, results.
If you have a debit card, you're used to spending money. But what if your card actually ended up earning you money? That's not exactly normal, but that's what you can get at A&B. It's called Kasasa Cashback Checking. Don't mind the weird name. What you need to know is that it's a free account with cash rewards. Use your debit card for everyday purchases, and we'll pay you cash back every month. If that doesn't sound like normal banking, well, guess what? We're not a normal bank. So contact A&B today and ask for Kasasa or visit ANB.com. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
You can listen to Aggie football, basketball, and baseball on your Amazon Dot or Echo. Step 1, say, Alexa, enable Zone 1150 skill. Step 2, anytime you want to hear fighting Texas Aggie football, Texas A&M women's basketball, or Aggie baseball, all you have to do is say, Alexa, play Zone 1150. It's that simple to listen to your favorite A&M teams that play on the Zone with your Amazon Dot or Echo. Make sure to say one time, Alexa, enable Zone 1150 skill. Then say, Alexa, play Zone 1150.
And we're back. TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Let's go back to Luke Evangelist at the News and Social Center. We haven't really been able to chat about the news with Miles O'Neill. Billy got to break it down for us a little bit, but earlier you were going to talk about it, and I cut you off. Luke, I apologize.
It's okay. You know, it's your show, David.
It's the people show. We're like the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah.
And they've just entrusted me to talk. And there's a very few select people who have entrusted me to talk, but there's a few.
I trust you to talk, and so I'm glad you brought it back over to me. And Miles O'Neill, 6'5", quarterback from Princeton, New Jersey. Schloss just got a 6'8" pitcher. I think A&M's just assembling basketball players to go play other sports. We're just looking for the tallest players in the country to come play for us. I love that strategy. Henry Coleman, if he was a tight end, David, how many touchdowns do you think he's catching?
4.
4? A game?
No, 4. I don't know.
Okay.
How many did Donovan Green catch last year?
Oh, I don't know that number off the top of my head, but he might hit double digits this year for sure.
Let's hope. Him and Johnson. Let's see what Jake can do out there. I know we got some text messages, right?
Yeah. David in Temple said, I think a better comment by the Ohio State AD would have been, the team had a great year. We were in the running for the title. Bottom line, we didn't do it. But the team and the staff are working toward that goal. A lot of programs don't make it. Pretty simple statement. You don't need to play the if-then game.
Yeah, there's a little coach speak in that, but yeah, sometimes the safe route's the better route. What else do we have?
Yeah. David Edmond, he was all over it.
Here I know.
Yeah.
Actually, I haven't read his comments, but I walked in the studio and Nick was like, he actually made sense this time.
Yeah. There were some, I won't read some of the earlier things, but one of his points that he made.
How many did he send?
I think there's like 5 in, you know what? The point stands. He made a good point that no doubt in my mind, if A&M had TCU's season in the Big 12 and then lost to Kansas State and didn't even win the conference title, the committee would have left us out, no question.
I don't know. Just go win then.
Yeah.
You know, like you could. I don't believe that there's a bunch of people who are sitting in a room having dictated a narrative. Hey, by the way, can't do anything good for A&M. All right, deal. Deal. Like I don't think that's how it works. I think you can change the narrative. We as fans can kind of help change the narrative too. But go win football games. Then you start getting the benefit of the doubt. Don't leave it up to, if you're going to talk trash with other coaches, back it up. Right? Unfortunately, Lane Kiffin backed it up against us, not against others, but backed it up against us. You got to be able to back up your talk. You got to go win games, and then don't lose games that matter. And if you lose games that matter, then you leave it up to the hands of people with biases. And that's the bottom line. What else do we have out there?
Yep, we've got Richard Chapman talking about Ohio State being a field goal away. TCU just winning games, like you said earlier. You look at, I think it's actually pretty cool. TCU against Baylor, they run their field goal unit out for a last second, make that kick, win that game, save their season. And Ohio State has that same opportunity to send them to the national championship, and they don't do it. Pretty standard points across a bunch of text messages. Just win games, like you were saying, David.
Yeah, and by the way, I don't know how many times I was watching a TCU game like they're about to lose, and they'd find a way to win. There were several games like that. I kind of wish that we had that good luck, right? Like we didn't have that same kind of luck at all. But under the situation, I don't even know why we're debating something from December in freaking June, but I guess because of the whole Gene Smith comments. But the bottom line is they won the games that they had to. They lost one that you thought could have taken them out, but it got them in. And how often does a Big 12 team get into the playoffs? It's been a couple years, right? So it is what it is. And they won a game in the playoffs too. Got to give them props for that.
I think a good point to tie it all in, just relating TCU to us here. They went 5-7 2 years ago. Next year they're in the playoffs. I don't think they win those close games without the adversity that they faced the year before, going 5-7.
Oh, back to what I was saying earlier. You have to kind of go through. I'm hoping.
Iron sharpens iron. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Kelly Clarkson.
Oh, is that her lyric?
Yeah. What doesn't kill you? You can finish it. Kay's probably back there singing it.
Yeah. I was more thinking some of the Spider-Man lines out there, but with great power comes great responsibility. But that's just because my head's in a different spot.
Yeah.
Anyway, when we come back, a man with great power and great responsibility over the airwaves to talk a little bit about A&M sports. His name is Andrew Monaco. He is the voice of the Aggies. He'll be in studio. Somehow we got him to come in. We'll chit-chat with Andrew here in a few minutes. And then at 10:35, The Fan Show. Everybody's favorite fan show, The Fan Show. All right, that and more. It is TexAgs Radio.
Sign up now for the Zone All Access newsletter, brought to you by Caliber, the wealth development company. Want to know what guests are coming on the show and when? Want to know the contests, the events, and what's going on with the Zone 1150 AM and 93.7 FM? Sign up for the Zone All Access newsletter at zone1150.com. You can call Caliber to learn how you can invest in commercial real estate right here in Bryan College Station that supports the community while producing real returns for investors. The Zone All Access newsletter. Sign up today.
As a veteran of the United States military, I can finally get the opportunity to enjoy special events, things that we couldn't afford, thanks to VetTix. Every empty seat at a concert, a game, or a play is a missed opportunity to say thanks to a veteran and service member. We can give our veterans a special event where they too can create their own cherished memories. Visit vettix.org. Find out how you can make a difference in a veteran's life.
Listen to The Zone online at radioaggyland.com. Don't miss Louie, Chip, TexAgs, or your favorite Aggie teams as they play on The Zone. Listen online at radioaggyland.com. This is KCNE College Station, Bryan.
From WTAW, I'm Chelsea Reber with a news update on The Zone. Tuesday night's Bryan City Council meeting included an offer from Mayor Bobby Gutierrez to the College Station Council. College Station Mayor John Nichols on WTAW responded to Gutierrez supporting College Station's charge for sending ambulances into Bryan if College Station drops the idea of building a sewer trunk line along Rosemary Drive.
I don't see that as necessarily the point of some kind of compromise trade-off on a sewer system. I think there are maybe other things we can talk about, and we're certainly willing to do that.
Nichols also said he heard the apology Gutierrez made Tuesday night for using the word bloodbath in reference to the sewer line project. Bryan's police chief and mayor present awards to a pair of civilians during Tuesday's city council meeting. Chief Eric Buskey presented BP's civilian service citation to Jason Allen and Adam Richardson for assisting an officer who was shot last December.
They prioritized Officer Watson's life and welfare above their own, as it was unknown if the suspect was still on the scene. Mayor
Bobby Gutierrez presented Courageous Citizen Awards to Allen and Richardson, a City Valor Award to the officer who these civilians assisted, Najee Watson, and a City Hero Award to another officer, Sarah Popham. A 23-year-old College Station man is in the Brazos County Jail for the second time this month, the fifth time since mid-March, and the eighth time since April of last year.
Noah Perkins' latest arrest is on a charge of violating a criminal trespass warning from an apartment complex. The College Station Police arrest report states Perkins was sitting in a covered bus stop waiting area that's owned by the complex, which is across the street from a sorority house. The arresting officer wrote a letter to a judge saying Perkins has been issued trespass warnings at 11 locations. An online record show Perkins served 90-day sentences for criminal trespassing last month and last year. Bond from the most recent arrest was set at $20,000. Bill Oliver, 1620 94.5 WTAW.
And I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
Since 1957, Slovacek Sausage in Snook has been making the best tasting sausage in Texas from the same family recipe.